starting in 1 minute. I know they say 10:45, but the quicker we get in, the quicker we get out of here. I know how lunch is for you all. We can get right into it. Hey, I'm not a teacher, I'm a PE coach. Y'all don't have to be scared of me. Y'all can come up here to the front. Oh my God. Or you can stay there. Some other people gonna have to come up to the front. Look, they still coming in. Just make sure they don't get all the way back there. They can't get all the way back. You ever hear something and then it's stuck in your head all day? Watch this. So in your head all day, So, you probably looked on the schedule and saw my name on there in the cafeteria, and come to find out that what was supposed to be presented in the cafeteria, the name of it was actually this one. I was supposed to actually do a game in the cafeteria in the second half, but something happened, and well, I did one presentation today, so I'm gonna take it how it goes, probably. I'm an interactive individual, so I need your voice to be a part of this. So I need you to enjoy this with me. It will go by much faster. For starters, raise your hand if you are a rookie, as in 0 to 5 years of coaching. Okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, some rookies, all right. If you've been in the game for a good minute, from 5 to 12 years, if you are in for 5 to 12 years. All right, so let's go with the vets, 12 to maybe 15 years, 16 years, so we got some vets. All right, let's go with the Hall of Famers, 20 plus. Oh, there we go. So look, welcome. I would assume that many of you have graduated high school and you've passed all the tests that you need to pass, so you know how to read, right? I say that because one of my pet peeves is when someone has a PowerPoint and they sit here and they read everything word for word on the PowerPoint. That is so boring. We don't want boredom. We want entertainment. We want to keep your attention. So, I'm going to have a PowerPoint, but I'm going to mix it in with a few videos to drive it home. I'm going to speak on some things. I can trust that you know how to read. Got it? So, welcome to this spot. Here's an introductory video this week.
We're going to try something brand new. Flip the script, as it were. From now on, 0 suspensions, 0 detentions, and for damn sure, 0 expulsions.
All right, well, that's pretty much all the tools there are to discipline people, so kids are going to run wild. Sounds like a great idea.
We're going to try a method called restorative justice. Instead of trying to punish bad behavior, we're going to bring the offenders together, give them a non-judgmental space called the circle room. Miss Swift.
Yes.
Can you look into the price of, why don't you look into the pricing for some beanbag chairs, a boom box, and, ooh, a popcorn machine.
I can't even tell if you're being serious right now. Beanbags and a popcorn machine.
Relax, Mr. Candy. It's gonna be nice for you too. You won't have to walk around here yelling at everybody.
Don't laugh, Swift. It's not funny.
She can laugh at whatever she wants to laugh at, Mr. Candy.
Well, her face is
Put
disrespectful.
your eyebrows down and calm down. Thank you. That's enough. Are you threatening her?
Nope, this pencil broke.
All right, so if we were to show up to school every day and the kids follow directions, and they did all the things they were supposed to, and they could not act up, that would make for the most boringest school day ever. In our world, we remember those who act up the most. And we remember those who act the best. In our world, they're very productive. And so, there's this imagination that one day we can have an event or a school year where there are no problems. That's a dream. Wake up. So, in our world, we have to be able to identify these misbehaviors. All right? Now, we can say a kid is bad, and we can't really truly identify what bad is. And when we get to a parent, we want to try to tell them exactly what's what, but we can't. Well, that's why I come here. So here's the origin of all this in the presentation. I went to grad school in Iowa. Yes, Iowa. Northern Iowa, where it's snowing. Yes. Waterloo, Iowa. West High School. I'm doing my practice. I'm next to the principal. I get to walk around and see what she does because my master's degree was in principalship. We go to this one meeting, and the teachers are talking, and there's this boy who's been acting up all year. And they say, yes, we're going to drop him to Whopper. I don't know what the heck Whopper is, but it's an after-school program. You go to school afterward, not to know what they are actually. They're all jumping around, happy and everything, and then the parents walk in. It's the boy, the mama, the grandmama, the auntie, and the little baby. They come in this meeting, a little black family. Now, the teacher gets to explaining what happened and said the boy was making all these loud noises in class. And some boy tripped and fell over a chair, and he just lost it and went real loud and disrupted class. His response is, he stands up and he's like, "Oh, my grandmama head, she lying." In my mind, as a 24-year-old person, I'm like, hey, why is it always on somebody's head? Like, what if you lying for real? What was your grandma gonna do? Gonna go on a guillotine or something? I mean, what is it? And so she's going to explain herself some more. And he says, "I'll put that on my baby cousin's head, she lying." They're going after about 30 minutes. The mom asks something that was very intriguing. "So what makes my child so bad in your class?" Well, the teacher couldn't give a real answer. And from that moment on, it was enough ammo for the mom, the grandma, and the auntie to just go in on this lady and say, "Everything you're saying is lies. You can't tell me what's wrong with my child." All this there, they throw the paper back at her, and the teacher doubles back because she's one of those timid teachers. And she says, "Well, when the kid tripped, I thought that he was just making a disruption, but he was just chuckling. And I thought he was making a disruption, but he probably wasn't." Totally different person from before they walked in the room and they were jumping for joy about dropping this kid to Whopper for after school program. All because the parents decided to use ammunition against this child, against this teacher, because the teacher couldn't speak intelligently about what was going on in the classroom. All I could think of was, wow, is this what I'm going to have to go into when I become a teacher? So as soon as they got off, she won her case. The kids walk away, the parents walk away. 5 seconds after they closed the door, the teacher broke down crying. And they're all consoling her and "Oh, it's going to be okay, it's going to be okay." And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if she would have just been more specific on what that child was doing in class, she probably would have been better off. And in my mind further, I say, ooh, I can't wait to come across a parent and a parent meeting so I can tell them exactly what's going on with their child. Hits. We have this. Now, that happened in 2004. Back then, we could call it bad. Well, times have changed in our world. You can't say the word bad anymore. It's misbehavior or challenges or insert name here. What? Let it be known. You see the line. As soon as you say your child would never, what would they do? Here they come, never like they never before. I just like that line. Now, here are the totals for referrals from our school year this past year. Of course, the majority of those referrals come from the same kids. In your school, you probably had about 140 referrals, even though it really was like 683, but your administrator may have gotten rid of a bunch of them. But of those 135, about 102 of them came from the same 5 kids. So, when they do their reports in regards to behavior, we see these numbers. But they're usually the same behaviors, all right? Now, when a parent comes in, they are automatically the lawyer for their child. They are working and working for the people in regards to their child. And in many cases, if you've made phone calls to these parents, all it takes is 2 times to get a call from school, and they remember that number, and what happens? They block it. Or they change their number, and then you have to go through this all over again. Or just say, hey, this Coach Reed, 74th Street. Oh, what'd he do now? All right, that's the classic line. But then they have these other statements. And when it comes down to it, in elementary, middle, or high school, that last line, or they say, aren't they just doing what kids do? Well, no. Because in reality, your child is the one that's messing up, and 95% of the school population is doing what they're supposed to do, which is follow directions like they need to. Your child is doing it different. Now, before I get into the secrets of how this thing goes on, you have to have what is known as that it factor. You have to get the parents on your side. How can you get the parents on your side? Well, you have to be involved. This is not a job for you. It's a career. It's part of your life. For most of you, all right? This is not a regular old 9 to 5 just to get a check. You're gonna see these kids outside of school. Many of you coach football, or you may be a referee, or you have some other sport that you're part of. You may even have your own kids and you're going to Chuck E. Cheese. You will see your kids, especially if you're in the same community. They recognize you as coach fill in the blank. Therefore, when they're 38 years old, they still recognize you as coach. Therefore, you are part of their lives. If you've made an impact, they will go home and talk about you. Coach Moore, who is in PE, Coach Moore, Coach Moore, Coach Moore. So now, you were in that household. They know about Coach Moore. So when they finally see Coach Moore, they're like, oh, I've heard about you. You are, they say, oh, everything that the child says. So when you go to talk to that parent about what your child is doing, well, they're more prone to believe you because they know who you are. All right. Make sense? Great. Now, there are five categories. Not limited to, but 5 categories. I say it out loud so you can hear it. Irritant, violent, defiant, mouth runner, and profane. My challenge to you is, I'm going to play a few videos. You're going to have to identify which one of these it fits on. All right? I'm going to ask you a few more questions. You got to chime in. Y'all ready for it? All right, take a look. Because it's not going to come back later on. You got 4 seconds. All right. First video.
Is she still saying it?
Oh, God, yes. Would you please just give me a moment? Yes, she's banging on about it even now. The trouble is, Hugh, they reckon they've got some great shots, you know.
Great shots?
The thing is, don't panic, you know.
Because it's disgusting.
You know, yes,
You
yes.
cannot treat people like this.
Can you please shut up? For one, I'm asking nicely. Please.
Now, Hugh, look, I'm going to have to hang
Did
up.
you
I'm going
enjoy
to have
that?
to deal with her.
Did
I'm
you
sorry,
enjoy
please.
that?
All right, so of the 5 that you saw, which one do you think that is? Irritant. We have irritant. Any other one? Mouth runner. Any other one? All right, so in this essence, we have the mouth runner. All right, so in reference to the lady. Okay. So understand in your classroom or your court or wherever you are, this person will never, ever, ever be quiet. Ever. When it's a quiet room just like this, they have to say something. They can't keep a silent room silent. They will whisper, and their whisper is like this. Everyone all the way in the back can hear the whisper. You can get on them, hey, Dante, be quiet, please. I was just whispering. You still talking? Or, I wasn't even saying anything. You were saying a whole lot. Words are coming out of your mouth and you're talking. They don't have to raise their hand. You ask a question, they'll blurt it out. It does not matter what the topic of conversation is. They will speak their mind and make sure you hear it. All they need are ears to listen. Even if it's their own ears. But they will be in your class. They will talk. And, well, it's that. Question. When they become an adult, what profession will they be the greatest at? Say politics. Give me some. This is where I need you to talk to me. Sales? Okay, lawyer. Now here's the real question. Car dealership. Hey, that's a new one. Raise your hand if you were the mouth runner in your class. Just think back to when you were in elementary, middle, high school. Be honest with yourself. There's no principal here. You're not going to get in trouble. Grown now. All right, I see 2 hands. I know some of y'all with some mouth runners.
Hey, listen. I
Yes.
got one. Listen, I got one.
You always have to say something.
They gonna be in jail too if they continue behaving like that.
Nah, I know you a mouth runner. We can't get
Then
it.
you catch a case. I'm just saying, that situation that you showed, they could catch a case behind.
Yeah, guess what? There's more to
Think
it.
about that.
Now here's another one. Many of you have kids.
Yes.
How many of your kids are mouth runners? Uh-huh. Yeah. Understand that. The apple don't fall too far now. All right. All right. Here we go. Video number 2.
Say, are you guys going to Davenport? My car died and I'm late for lunch. We usually don't pick up hitchhikers. But I'm gonna go with my instinct on this one. Saddle up, partner. You're it. You're it. You're it. Quincy's. Any Quincy's. You're it. Quincy's. No, any Quincy's, no starches. You can't do that. Cannot stamp it. Can't do double stamp it, no erases. Cannot. Triple stamp it, no erases. Tell Stu make it through. You can't double stamp a double stamp. You can't double stamp a double stamp, Lloyd. You can't double stamp a double stamp. Lloyd! You guys! Enough! Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Fellas, think we could listen to the radio or something? Radio? Who needs a radio? Ready, Harry? Mark. Yeah. Yeah. Bird. Yeah. Mockingbird, don't everybody have you heard? She's gonna buy me a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, she's gonna buy me a diamond ring. And if that diamond ring don't shine, look, there's some people want to ride too. Pick 'em up.
So, anybody think any different? Guess what? You got the irritant. Now, we have that one person that is very irritating. there we go. So look, they'll keep doing it because they know that all they need is one person to look and crack a smile. Oh, and it's on. I got him. I got him. I got him. And of course, that teacher's like, hey, but there he is. Stop. Go on. Look around. See another chicken? Yeah, he chuck. All it takes is for one person to go, and it's on again. All right? And if we can get that other person to do it too, because there's more irritants in the world, someone else is going to just out loud, and now all of a sudden you have a whole class that's disrupted from that one irritant. Yes, they get on your nerves, and they plan to do it every day. It is entertainment for them, and they will make sure they do this, possibly to even get out of work. They may want to go to the office. They may want whatever it is, but they're looking for attention. Now, there will come a point in time where the kids turn on them and say, hey, act your age and not your shoe size. Or mature up, be a big boy, be mature. Oh, you saying I'm immature? So now it's a challenge. Now I gotta get on everyone's nerves that has a problem with me getting on your nerves. I'm being an irritant. And how many days are there in the school year? I guarantee you that irritant is there 180 days. On time, never miss. They can be sick, they will be healed coming into your class so they can get on your nerves and possibly do this. And they know it. And this is a driving force for them just to get on your nerves. Now, raise your hand if you were the irritant in class. Let's see who's willing to be honest with themselves. There we go. We got a slow hand coming up. I know he's not the only one. We in PE. We know that PE coaches were irritating in class. We have plenty of athletes that were around, that was playing around in class. I know some of you were irritated. I went to school with a few of you. I know what's up. All right. Don't worry. For an irritant, what profession would an irritant be great at?
A clown.
All right, we got a clown.
Telemarketer.
Because they never stop. Scam likely is your name. Comedians, yes. We see more and more of it every day. But understand, they could be the greatest comedians in the world, but on a Tuesday, they are in your class, getting on your nerves for fun. Here's the third one. they get, the more profane they are. Well, I know some of you are thinking, hey, what words was he gonna say? All this stuff bleeped out. But understand that back in the time that I grew up, there was what, Q105, American Top 40, and Power Pig was like the most outrageous one. And then we had what, 98.7 came in and they started letting some of the cuss words come in. And now, if it's not Joy FM, it's pretty much profane and they're not getting bleeped out. All right? Now, she was in a car. Many cases, your kid is in the back seat of that car. And the words aren't bleeped out. And they're on their phone, on YouTube, TikTok, whatever may have you. And it's very profane, and those words aren't bleeped out. And then, well, they're at home. In many cases, the parents are talking, and their words aren't bleeped out. And then they go into the neighborhood, and everyone wants to be cool, so they're saying their words, and their words aren't bleeped out. Then they show up in your classroom. Now, for many of your kids, they may be talking and cuss words just happen to slip out because they cuss so much that they don't even realize that they're cursing when they curse. And everyone else is like, whoa, you say that with the teacher around? They're like, what? Oh, I said something? Oh, my bad. Then you have some that just don't care. They'll just say it and dare you to do something about it. Now, you have plenty of them who, their parents, when that child was 3, they hit something, shit! And everyone laughed because they thought it was cute. It was cute when you cussed at 3. And then they became 5-year-olds. And they knew all the vocabulary words. And they started school. Now, you have those others who are, all right, Phil, sit down. Phil, sit down. Phil, sit your own down before I knock you out. What's wrong with you? Beep, 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 beep. So now, Phil only knows that I'm serious as a parent when I get to cussing at you. And then they show up in your classroom, and you can't cuss them out. And they only respond to cuss words. Now, how are we going to respond? Check it out. How many of you were the profane people in school? Be honest with yourself. Oh, not. I mean, seriously, I got one hand. All of y'all wasn't goody-goodies. I know that. I know that.
We have a parent that'll come to the school at any damn time.
Exactly.
Listen, you're going to cross your legs and be like,
You can't do that.
So, understand, just know that when it comes down to it, you got to know the difference between cussing around, getting cussed at, getting cussed out. If you can identify those parents, you know where the kid is. Now, what profession would a profane person thrive in? Rapper. There's some more.
some comedians.
Comedians, yes.
Politician.
Politicians. Okay. I was always told sailors cuss. You can cuss like a sailor. I've never been on a Navy ship, but my daddy was a sailor and he didn't cuss people out. Maybe he wasn't in long enough. But understand, we have some professions that actually work with profanity. Now, let's be truthful. Sometimes you, shoot, football coaches, sports coaches. Come on now. You can't put a play in without a cuss word. Run the 40 sweep right now. It comes with the territory. But understand, until they become that legendary coach or that legendary rapper that everybody is right now, it is a Thursday. In your class, it's time for a test, and they don't know. They don't know the answers. So right now they cussing up a storm. And they know that they can probably get kicked out of class from cuss words. And if someone gets attention out of it, then we're going on some more. Make sense for you? Yes? No? All right, y'all gotta give me some responses now. All right, before I show this next clip though, many of you can identify a child in your years of teaching that you may want to have done this to. And of course, in the back of your mind, you will figure that child is not worth a visit to OPS or HR or pick any of the 3 letters that's going to result in your job. But you all have a child that you just, ooh. Matter of fact, before we get into it, name that child. Give me one. Name a child. Ooh. Achilles? Give me one. I need a couple more. Jaden? Okay. Look, James. James Jew. You know them by first and last name. They've been out of your reach for the past 3, 4, 5 years, but you know that. Yes. Now, so understand, not the teacher, but the kids. Which one is it? We have profane, we have violent, we have defiant, we have mouth runner. The defiant. That one kid that makes sure he does everything opposite of you. He wants to make sure, he or she wants to make sure that it's their way on the highway and I-275 is blocked up. Understand, their favorite word is no, followed by a Y, or it may be Y, followed by a no. These same people are trying to find ways to actually get out of it. They don't want to do what you want them to do. And they will make sure to find ways to combat. They have rebuttals for everything. They will make sure to do that they want to do. Understand that, they may have their attitude. They may have their will to do their own thing, and they may have something against you. You can reach these type of people, but if they don't want to be reached because they want to be defiant, well, there's nothing you can do in their world. Now, raise your hand if you were the defiant one. Okay, when they get into high school, their other phrases are, so when am I going to do this in real life? A simple phrase that if you're in math class and it's trigonometry, when am I going to use this in real life? You can't identify when I'm going to use it in real life, well, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get the work done. So I'm going to do something else. I'm going to talk, or I'm going to get on my phone, I'm going to listen to my headphones. I'm going to do something different because I can identify when I'm going to use trigonometry in real life. Sidebar question. When was the last time you used trigonometry in real life? Anybody identified? No? No? Have we ever used trigonometry in PE? Well, I've been teaching for 20 plus years. I've been living for 22 years after trigonometry. I don't remember, well, for one, I don't remember any of my trigonometry terms. 2, I don't remember when I had to use trigonometry in real life. But for the defiant one, who's supposed to be trying to learn this stuff, they don't want to do it anyway. Now, fast forward into real life, fast forward some more. What career or what profession would a defiant person thrive in? Lawyer. Ooh, I like it. A mouth runner can go for lawyer too, huh? Okay, what about a revolutionist? Because in reality, we are all in the same room right now because somebody wants to be defiant. Moments in history have come from defiance. Women being able to vote, they got together and said, I'm not doing it. Who was that? Rosa Parks sat on the bus and said, I'm not moving. Anything recently, all of our riots and everything of that nature come from defiance. And what comes of defiance? Change. It's true. You just have to do it the right way, as an adult with some type of power. But until that time, it is a Friday in your class doing fitnessgram testing, and all you have to do is some push-ups. And they can't do a push-up. So they will be as defiant as possible to try to get out of those push-ups. Yes, it's true. And it's wrecking your nerves, but they don't care because, well, they're defiant. Yes? Makes sense? Great. All right. Last one. Which one haven't we covered yet? So this is the easy part, right?
Certain differences, rivalries, if you will, have come up between us. At first I thought we could talk it over like civilized people. But instead, I just ripped the head off Mr. Honey Bunny.
Bart, that was your cherished childhood toy.
Mr. Honey Bunny!
Quiet down, Bert.
Bart, just get out of here.
Hey, it's a free country, you get out.
That doesn't make sense.
I know you are, but what am I?
Get out, get out!
Okay, but on my way, I'm gonna be doing this. If you get hit, it's your own fault.
Okay, then I'm gonna start kicking air like this. And if any part of you should feel that air, it's your own fault.
Oh, I better go check that out. Now, Homer, don't you eat this pie.
Okay. All right, Pie. I'm just gonna do this. Hum, 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 hum. And if you get eaten, it's your own fault. Hum, 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 hum. No! Oh! Oh! My!
All right, so we have the violence. This is the one that we recognize the most. It's very evident. Someone else is getting hurt. We've even geared most of our rules according to this. From elementary through college. What is the first rule that we go over when we say rules? For this person right here, the violent one. Somebody's always got to hit somebody. They got to throw something, they got to kick them, keep your hands, feet, elbows, shoulders, knees, feet, whatever to yourself. All right. Now, I grew up in a neighborhood, born and raised Child's Park, where you gotta fight for everything. All right? Somebody tries to take something of yours, you gotta fight them, otherwise they're gonna take your stuff and you're gonna get booked. All right? I'm no punk. So I'm not gonna let you bully me, I'm not gonna let you punk me. So we gotta fight. And if you beat me up, well, there's tomorrow. I'm coming back to get my licks back. So, what do we say? Don't hit, and don't hit. But what my mama tell me? What did my mama say? There you go. So, don't start it, don't finish. All right, so understand that my mom or my dad says if somebody hits me, hit them back. The teacher says we shouldn't hit. Teacher, mom and daddy, but if I listen to the teacher, and then I go home and say, all right, Dorsonville hit me, and my daddy say, well, what did you do? I did nothing. What you mean you ain't do nothing? Well, the teacher said don't hit. I don't give a what the teacher say. If you come back and they hit you, and you did nothing when you get home, I bound to hit you. So now you gotta go back to school and finish the job. Now you're in trouble, you got a referral written, and the teacher said, yeah, he hit him. But the teacher never sees him hit you. What does the teacher see? The person who always hits back, right? Now, if a kid comes to act up and they are the violent person of the class, you know who that person is. If they can't get to a person, well, what can they get? They're throwing chairs, they're throwing books, they're throwing computers, and if it's a grudge against you, they will find your computer, or they'll find your phone, or find something of yours, because if they damage something of yours, then there's some power that's earned in that, because they can see that you felt some type of way about something of yours being damaged. It's not theirs, they don't care. But once they do release their tension and pass that energy on to somebody else, that's fine. But in the end, that energy goes to someone else. Something else is damaged. Now, if you match up a violent person to another violent person, you have an all-out brawl. And then you have to determine in your own world as a teacher, 1, do I break this up? 2, do I want to risk getting injured trying to break up a fight? 3, they tell us not to really touch them, but if you let them fight, do we get in trouble for letting them fight? 4, is this somebody who deserves to get beat up or not? I might let them get a couple extra licks in, because that person gets on my nerves all the time because they're a mouth runner and they're profane at me, but he's getting pummeled by Jeffrey right here. So let me take my time to get over here and say, hey, stop. Oh yes, we are teachers, we're being real with ourselves now, you understand this. But this comes in that violent world, all right? You play a game in your PE and they talking all kinds of mess. They're playing the basketball game and they're the roll is hot, they're Kobe Bryant, until someone beats them and the other person gets to talking junk, and now they mad. Now they mad, they want to fight. Because you beat me in the game, I need to beat you up, and then I still win. And so you have this in your class, or on your court, or wherever it may be. But it's the violence, all right? And they probably go home and see their parents fight. They go home and look on TikTok and they see fights on there. You have so many fight forums where they fight and they upload it, and so it's the newest fight of the day. There are fights in school, especially high school, and they go into the bathroom and say, let me run my 30. And for those who don't know, if someone says, let me run my 30, they all go to the bathroom. It's an agreement. Everyone goes in, they have their cell phones out. They say, 1, 2, 3, go. You have 30 seconds to battle it out. And then when time is up, or somebody hits the ground and they lost, you shake hands, you go about your merry way. That happens in school often. Now, if the video gets out and administration gets to it, then they come back and they yell you violent, and then you get suspended. So if you hear somebody say, run me my 30, you're about to fight. That's another one. Who was the violent person in school? As we're all teachers now, we're 20, 30 years past our childhood, but who was the violent person in school? Name a child that is very violent in your school. Just say the first name, don't say the last name. Jade, all right. I had one named DeMar. I wonder where he is now. I need another name. Somebody from your school was the violent one. Who was? Who was throwing chairs? Cameron. All right. Now, fast forward in life. Where does the violent person thrive the most?
Police officer.
Thank you.
Oh boy. In this day and age, hey, it may be that. What else? We have boxers. Most athletes, they have that drive within them, that violent mentality. Shoot, some of them are in jail. Yes, it's true. In many cases, you have to fight your way in jail. It's not a good thing, but it's true.
Juvie.
But you have your violent. we've identified the 5 areas. All right? Many of your behaviors you can attribute to one of those, or maybe in some cases multiple. It's not always just one. But then there's you, because you have to see them all day, every day, in many cases times, 4, 5, 6, depending on how many periods you have a day. Different kids. You see the majority of the school. But then you have this type of thing. I was just talking, but Aaron's over there hitting her in the head and you didn't do nothing. And then they go home and they say, well, she don't like me because he was over there cussing at her and Sheila was slapping him in the head. And then when she wanted us to get the work done, Jonte was saying no and was being defiant, but I was whispering to her and she got on me and started yelling at me. She don't like me. Well, you as a teacher, well, that's your profession. But you grew up in a different lifestyle than many of the kids. And based on how you grew up determines what your tolerance level is for certain things. If you grew up and it was a profane environment, you hear cuss words all the time, to the point where it's normal conversation, profanity may not bother you as much. But if you grew up where you said, oh, shoot. Shoot is too close to a cuss word. So, you might get the taste slapped out of your mouth for saying, oh, shoot. There are 42,000 taste buds in your mouth. You get the taste slapped out of you. Some of you may get the flavor back and it might be Irish Spring, Dove, whatever case may be. So when you show up as a teacher in school and somebody says, oh, F, oh, antennas go up, eyes light up, eyebrows are going, that sets you on fire. Now, you may have grown up in an abusive household where husband beats wife, wife beats husband, there's all kinds of action going on, police were called often. So you have a scar from violence. To see two people fighting sets you up a wall. But somebody talking doesn't bother you. You were probably a single child. So for most cases, your area was quiet. You had a nice calm environment, you had your own room, and the only noise that you heard was what you created. So when you come into a classroom, you expect it to be quiet. And for those who make noise, that drives you up a wall. Some things you are tolerant of, some things you don't pay attention to, some things instantly get your nerves going. You have to be able to identify that for yourself. Now, when it's time to talk to a parent, you have to be very specific in what you're saying. If you are sitting across the table from a person, you need to be able to identify what it is that you're specifying. All right, so James, when he's in my classroom, when it's time to do certain work, he makes sure to get up out of the chair and go hit Jessica in the head. He does it at least 3 times a day. She's being very irritated, and her mom has written enough notes because he's slapping her in the head. It goes into more of a violent thing. When I go to tell him to sit down, he gets very defiant and wants to tell me no, he's not going to do something, and he makes sure to go over there and slap her in the head. But now he went over there to Dante and hit him in the back of the head too. So then yesterday they got to fighting because he can't take it. But he's doing this often. Ways to specify. If you're just saying he keeps putting hands on people and if you want to keep it bland, then when a parent wants to know what's specific and you don't be specific, then they're going to dismiss it. You can also make it to where it's a help you situation. You see them at the car circle. Hey, look, your sons keep cussing at everybody. And I'm trying to find out, why is he cussing at everybody? Did something happen at home before? What changed? He wasn't cussing like this before. And you get them to talk, oh, well, I just left my husband, and we've been moving around. I'm staying with my uncle and with my mom, and we're trying to move around and do certain things, and that's probably a strain on him. Now you get them to talk. Or, all right, so he loves to say MF all the time. Something about this word MF. I don't know if he knows who Samuel L. Jackson is, but he loves to say MF for everything. Who he get it from? You or the daddy? Of course, they'll say, oh, well, it's from the daddy. His daddy say it all the time. It's probably them, but understanding that if you can get them to talk when it's time to sit in the actual room for a class meeting, they'll be more apt to speak to you, all right? So if you see them outside, you can be specific on what you're looking for. Any questions in regards to anything I've gone over thus far? All right? So do we understand that we have tolerance levels for certain aspects of behaviors that we may not pay attention to, but others are very, very high strung? All right, so if I point to you, I need you to identify in your own brain which one you don't pay attention to the most and which one sets you on fire. You ready? You ready? You. What's your name? Andrew. Andrew. What sets you on fire?
Probably irritant.
Irritant. Okay. You. What's your name? Danielle. Danielle. Defiant sets you on fire. Who else feels that defiant is that one that sets you on fire? Yeah. All right, what about profane? All right, we got one for the profane. What about the mouth runner? We got one for the mouth runner. Two. What about the violent? He stood up like on a chair. All right. What was it? Irritant. All right, the irritant one. Yep. And which one did I miss?
Profane.
Profane. Okay. Who's irritated by the profane? All right. Now, most of you said defiant, which of all of those, that's probably the one that's has the least amount of evidence. So it's very hard to truly identify to a parent what defiance really is. You can say the actions, I'm not doing my work, I break my pencil. Oh, well, he could have been doing that for something else. He pushed it too hard, no. He was being defiant. And you know you gave the instruction. And they choose to do opposite. Or they tell you opposite. But it's very hard. Violent is the one that you can see. When the administrator comes into the room, they see the whole room toe up. That's visual evidence. Of course, if a kid comes into that office and they're acting like they're supposed to with the administrator, well, then they send them back to your class. No, there's nothing wrong with them. No! He was defiant. Yes. So, in our world, we have to actually try to identify and point out very specifically what it is that's being defined. What they say, what they do, what they didn't do, that contributes to it, and how long they do it for. When you do that, if you can get that parent to say, which one of y'all was it? Because every child is a reflection of their parent. So if you can get them to talk, all right. Make sense? Guess what? We got lunch to go to. We started early, finished early. Y'all get to go away about your business. But thank you for coming in, participating with me. And hope you take I know for a minute you're like, hold on, is he talking to me?
face turn red when they
I tried to remember names, like say names, teach you a team. This is the same thing. I know.
going there fall asleep. Like 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Marco, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. When you see Brett or a Yabi, you know. You didn't go out and teach you.
JG, what's going on, brother? Good, what's going on? I'm all right. I was looking at him back, I'm like, what are you doing back there?
You a Mexican.
Standing in the truck.
You know, you heard him. The apple don't fall far from the tree.
Yeah, you read about that. I've seen that that apple. They just stayed right there next to the tree.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. So when you were already with us, he was cut out.
There you go. Oh, yeah. How are you? What are you teaching at?
Yep. All right. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Oh, Connor. Okay. All right. Because he's wet.
First section on the left cafeteria.
Wow. I say, wow. Because somebody was telling me about her kid, and they're all getting older, but
There's like a core of like 16, 17 It's a not bad system. All we do is varsity will be on one side of the ball. Basically, we're being coached by the same coaches the whole time. But I know sometimes there's an issue where it's like, okay, we're doing split, but then it's like, okay, defense is running team, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you got the coaches on offense, so one of these are on scout, and then so you leave in, it's like, oh shit, we're on the main down in the JV. So we did get a couple of coaches that were working, they're talking to one that wants to help out. So yeah, dude, we can use it. We can use it. Now I know what time you get out of work or. Yeah, so
they gave you the whole school.
So she just ran down looking all first hours left at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like calendar split. Oh, y'all can pull up Tuesday, Wednesday. All right, good.
All right, man.
So we'll be back at the hood Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Field, but